Hey, welcome back to the channel. The last video you got to see where I left off with the what I was working on with the control stick. Sorry, I'm just collecting some pages here. Get them out of the way. There we go. So we got that. We got this bracket kind of all set. We got some holes ready for the next step, and not holes. We got some marks ready to drill some holes. So the next thing is to make the control stick so that I can get that mounted to the torque tube, and then get all that kind of in place. Got to get the torque tube cut to length, and I got the control stick, the torque tube, and I need to grab a couple of other pieces here. I believe they're down here. There we go. Alright, so these are the details for the control stick. Basically, I have two 3/16" holes, one at 3/8 from the edge, and then the second one I'll actually drill after I get the bracket connected to the first one, because since I've already made the brackets, it'll be important to match those up. So stick is 13 inches long, so I'll cut it to 13. I'll get the first hole drilled at 3/8. I'll use the same technique against the fence over here to draw a center line all the way down the length of it, and 3/8 inch off the edge, 3/16 hole. We'll start there. All right. Alright, so now we got that one drilled. I just put a bolt through, and now we're gonna slip this back in here, and we'll just let this bolt sit against there. We're just gonna work this in until we're going through the hole here, and we're gonna double check that we're hitting center on our line. And that looks like we We're just about dead center on the line. Let's see what this looks like. Just a little test, a little look, and off we go. All right, we'll deburr that real quick. Using one of these, by the way, for deburring. And that looks perfect. So now that gets assembled with washer spacers. Like so, and then a couple more washers, and we'll fit the other side. Everything's a really good fit, so it's a little bit tight. And we get a couple nuts on there. Alright, so the torque tube gets a hole at 1.25 inches from the front side. So we'll measure that one off. We're going to go 1.25 inches here. There. And then we'll punch that mark. Drill that one. This one is actually 1/4 inch, so. Alright, so this is made up of a 4-16 bolt, 428 nut, a couple of the bearing pieces, just like we made for the ailerons, and I made those a long time ago when I just made them all at the same time, so I just had them in my box over there. So we get the bolt through here. The bolt and the bearing. That, and that goes through here. And then our torque tube goes on. then another bearing. So, there we go. And then our 428 nut. And the bearings actually get kind of pressed tight against the tube here, and then of course this rotates on the tube. So that's the beginning of that assembly. Looks awesome. Okay, so now we've got to make a thrust collar that fits on the back side here, and that is a 1/2 inch wide. That's out of a piece of 1 1/4 inch by 125. So it's a 1/2 inch wide. And I'm also going to draw a center line on it because I'm going to drill the hole before I actually cut it off. And the hole, I'll be right back. All right, let's cut it off. All right, so I got the thrust collar made. It's pretty simple. Just cut it the same way off the tubing, but I drilled it first before I cut it. And what happens is you can see with the UHMW bearings here, you got one there, one at the front. Then the control stick slides in, and then the thrust collar is actually pressed between the aileron bracket on the back side. So here, so it's actually against here, and it actually is pushing. It's keeping these all connected. So it basically the bearing is kind of squeezing between this aileron bracket and the thrust collar. So now it's time to take the plane down, flip it over, and start putting some of this in the fuselage so I can go to the next step. We can get this drilled, and then we can get the holes drilled for this, because this actually gets drilled when it's in position here inside the plane. And then yeah, that'll help us keep going. So I'm going to get the plane off of here and flip it over, and I think I might actually, before doing that, let's make the main wheels. That's probably a good idea. All right. All right, so we got our components out here. We got our tire. We've got the brake drums. We got our wheel halves, and now it's time to put some of this together. And I'm kind of doing it without any directions. but since the thing is on, the brakes are on the inside, obviously, I'm going to put the nuts on the outside. I'm going to put the bolts on the outside, the nuts on the inside, and yeah, so we'll get these assembled together and get the tubes in, get the tires on, maybe put just a little bit of air in them, enough to just make them take some shape. And then I can, once I flip the Plein over, I'll actually be able to just slide them on and maybe use a clamp or something to make sure they don't move and come off. And because that all gets drilled later, what's actually holding these on. So after we get it flipped over, then I'll start working. You know, it might actually be too high for me to do that, but let's put the wheels together anyway. But then when I flip it over, I'm gonna actually have to flip it over on the I think on my sawhorses, but I'll see. But hey, let's put them together. All right. So to get this compressed, what I've got is I have an all thread with just a washer and a nut, and on the other side, it's just spot welded right here to the all thread, another nut with a washer, and then all I'm doing is just tightening up this side, and it's pulling this together for me. Okay, so you got to see what that whole thing was like, and now we get to see it like that. So, and isn't that super cool to see it on its wheels? It's looking really good now. I love it. And actually, I'll be able to work fine from here on getting the bearing blocks in and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get those pulled out and get that front bearing block in, and it's going to require some light first, so let me get that. Okay, so I was just going to show you one more thing before I go. I got my Amazon package today that kind of went missing, but then I found it. I got these really cool Rock Bros grips, which are they fits perfectly on the stick, and it's nice and soft. And I have a spare because they come in pairs. They're for bicycles, obviously. And what's really nice about it is just have this Allen wrench that you put in there, and you tighten this up when you get it in position, which makes that really simple. And then I picked up a push button switch right here that will actually go for my push to talk right on top of the stick. And I got this plastic insert for 7/8 tubing. I'll drill a hole in this, I'll mount this in it, and the wiring will run nicely right through there. And yeah, super cool. So I'll link these parts so you can actually see them in case you're interested. And all right, so thanks for hanging out with me tonight. That's going to be it for me. I have tail wheel training tomorrow, and that's hard work, so I'm going to need to get some rest, get something to eat. And so I started putting the control stick in, so I'm getting that ready so that I can get this collar attached, and I can get the holes aligned for the aileron control horn down here and get those marked. And other than that, everything's going extremely well. So yeah. So hey, if you're not a subscriber, and I invite you to hit the subscribe button, and hey, hit that little bell so you don't miss any of these episodes of my build. And big day today. It's on its wheels. And hey, I'll catch you later.